Imagine, for a second, trying to reshape the entire spiritual landscape of a subcontinent. Now imagine doing it all in just 32 years. Well, that's the incredible story of Adi Shankaracharya, a philosopher whose ideas from over 1,000 years ago are still making waves today. So how on earth did he pull it off?
And that's really the core mystery we're diving into. His life is this fascinating paradox, right? He lived from 788 to 820 CE. That's it, just 32 short years. So how could one person possibly achieve so much in such a ridiculously short amount of time? Let's figure it out together. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we got to set the stage. What did the world look like when he showed up? Then we'll follow his amazing journey, unpack his truly revolutionary philosophy, see how he built a strategy to make it last, and finally look at why he still matters so much today. To really get Shankara, you first have to get 8th century India. And let me tell you, it was not a time of unified belief. It was this chaotic, buzzing, fragmented world of competing ideas. I mean, just look at this intellectual battlefield he walked into. It wasn't just one or two rival ideas. You had massive philosophies like Buddhism and Jainism. You had different Hindu schools like Sankhya and Yoga. You had these really complex, super formal ritual traditions. It was a total marketplace of beliefs. And Shankara's whole mission was to bring one single, unifying vision to all of it. So who was this guy who decided to take on this massive task? Well, all the traditional accounts paint this picture of Shankara as a complete child prodigy, born in a little village called Kaladi, in what's now Kerala. And his life just moved at lightning speed. As a little kid, he's mastering these sacred texts that take most people an entire lifetime to even begin to understand. But then, as a teenager, he makes this incredibly radical choice. He decides to become a renunciate, an ascetic, dedicating his life completely to spiritual searching. He literally leaves everything behind to go find answers. And that one decision, right there, set the course for his entire life. Okay, so this brings us to his revolutionary philosophy, Advaita Vedanta. This was his big, powerful, unifying answer to that whole fragmented world of ideas we were just talking about. At the absolute heart of his entire system is this one word, Advaita. It literally means non-dual, or maybe more simply, not two. The core argument is that behind this world that looks so diverse and separate, there is actually only one single ultimate reality. And this totally captures the radical shift in thinking he was proposing. We've all heard that classic metaphor, right? You are a drop in the ocean. Well, Shankara comes along and completely flips it on its head. He argues that your true self, what he called the Atman, isn't just a part of the ultimate reality, or Brahman. He says your true self is that ultimate reality. You're not the drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a single drop. Okay, so if that's true, why don't we feel it? Why does everything look and feel so separate? Shankara's answer is this concept called avidya, which is a kind of fundamental ignorance. Think of it like a veil of illusion that's draped over our eyes, making us see a world of different people and things, hiding the fact that it's all one unified reality underneath. So, how do you get free? How do you achieve liberation or moksha? Well, at a time when a lot of people were focused on doing elaborate rituals, Shankara made a really bold claim. He said rituals are not enough. The only way to pierce that veil of ignorance is through jnana, direct personal knowledge. You have to experience that ultimate reality for yourself. But look, a brilliant idea isn't enough to change the world. You need a strategy. And Shankara wasn't just a philosopher. He was a master strategist, an organizer. He had a plan to make sure his ideas would last for centuries. You can really see his life's work as this clear, three-part strategy. First, he articulated his philosophy in these masterful commentaries on the core scriptures, which grounded his ideas in tradition. Second, he traveled all across India, engaging in public debates, challenging and winning over rival thinkers. And third, and this is crucial, he institutionalized his teachings to make sure they would survive. And his organizational genius is just on full display here. He's credited with setting up 4 major monastic centers, or mathas, basically at the 4 corners of India. Each one was tasked with preserving a sacred text and became this lighthouse for his philosophy. See, he didn't just write a book and walk away. He built a nationwide network to ensure his ideas would outlive him. So when we put it all together, what's the final takeaway from this incredible life? What is his ultimate legacy? Well, it's actually a little more nuanced than you might think. And here's the key thing to remember about him. Shankara didn't actually invent the idea of non-duality. You can find it in ancient texts like the Upanishads. His true genius was in gathering all these scattered threads and weaving them into this single, powerful, logically airtight philosophy. He was the great synthesizer who gave the idea its lasting shape. There's this quote from a modern scholar that I think just nails it. While all the stories about his life are really compelling, his true biography is the journey of his ideas. His life was just completely dedicated to thinking through the deepest questions of existence with incredible logic and profound insight.
And that leaves us with one final thought. In our world today, which is so full of constant noise and external distractions, what can we learn from the story of a man who, in just 32 years, argued that the greatest, most important journey you could ever take is the one inward, to discover the true nature of your own self?